everybody. You know what? There are so many WWE highlights, happenings, and happenstances that you and I could haul enough into every single letter of the alphabet. So that is what we are doing. My name is Tom Campbell, and this is the letter H on the A to Z of WWE. H, of course, is for Hulk Hogan. When the leg drop fell on the Iron Sheik and the Hulk became the WWF champion, it ushered in a new era in professional wrestling. Let's rewind a little bit though, because it wasn't meant to be this way. Vince McMahon was on the lookout for an Irish-American superstar to head up his global World Wrestling Federation plans. Enter Terry Bollea, big, beefy boy. And Vince McMahon thought, this is a guy who is going to be my Irish-American star. Hence the name Hogan. Also, Vince wanted to dye his hair red. Thankfully, that didn't happen, and we got the beautiful yellow locks that we see to this very day. During his time in the company, Hulk Hogan became a 6-time world champion, very much the flag bearer for the company until 1993 when he went to WCW. He would return in 2002 and make quite an impact on WWE television once again, even becoming the undisputed champion one more time as well. Will Hulk Hogan ever wrestle again? Well, there's a good chance that you're watching this video in the far-flung future where that question has already been answered. Regardless of whether he gets back in the ring or not, Hulk Hogan was very much a major part of the wrestling scene, in particular the WWF's golden era. H is also for Hell in the Cell. Say it with as much phlegm as you can to sound like Vince McMahon. Imagine a steel cage match, but the steel cage has a roof on it. That is what was designed for Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker in 1997 as a way of settling their bitter rivalry. A steel cage that nobody could get into and nobody could get out of. Hell in a Cell became a match filled with iconic moments of carnage in the company, including that moment that Mick Foley was thrown from the top of the cell by The Undertaker at King of the Ring 1998, and then through the cell a short while later. We've seen Shane McMahon leap off the top of the Hell in a Cell structure at least twice in his life so far, and we had a history-making moment in 2016 when Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair competed in the first ever women's Hell in a Cell match as well. Hell in a Cell is now an annual tradition where they will bring down the big, now red cage and settle grievances in the most violent structure imaginable. When we talk about carnage and violence, we could also be talking about our next H, the Hardcore Championship, given to Mankind by Vince McMahon as a gift in 1998, a gift that he subsequently lost to the Big Boss Man. The Hardcore Championship from there became an active title in the WWF. The rules are simple: pin the guy or make the guy submit. Apart from that, there's no rules. Just go for it. The Hardcore Championship ushered in an era of smash and grab car crash style wrestling. And when the 24/7 stipulation was added, meaning that the belt can be defended anywhere at any time, it just added to the chaos. Crash Holly, the Houdini of hardcore as he was better known, held that championship 22 times during the 24/7 era, and he probably amassed about 20,000 steps on his Fitbit trying to keep it as well. The Hardcore Championship was merged with the European and the Intercontinental Championships in 2002. However, its legacy lives on through the WWE's 24/7 Championship. When we talk of legacy, we talk of our next H, the Hart Foundation. Bret the Hitman Hart, the iconic WWF champion, the leader of the new generation, the best there is, the best there was, the best there ever will be. We simply cannot do an A to Z of WWE without talking about Bret the Hitman Hart, one of the most decorated performers in the history of the WWF and the WWE as well. Bret Hart came to the WWF as part of a tag team with Jim the Anvil Neidhart. The Hart Foundation became two-time tag team champions, and later on Bret Hart broke away away as a singles competitor. His desire and passion and incredible talent in the ring were completely undeniable, to the point where he became the man and became the WWF champion, defeating Ric Flair. After some time at the top, the crowd started to turn on Bret Hart, seeing guys like Stone Cold Steve Austin as more of the heroes of the company. And Bret turned to his family for support, and the Hart Foundation was born, consisting of his brother Owen, his brothers-in-law Jim the Anvil Neidhart and the British Bulldog, and family friend Brian Pillman. Together, they formed an anti-American alliance, which created this weird, bizarro world scenario in the WWF. You see, when the Hart Foundation were performing in America, they were booed. When they performed in Canada, they were heroes. This is no better scene than an In Your House Canadian Stampede from 1997, in which the Hart Foundation are seen as homecoming legends taking on the evil Americans. Check out that pay-per-view when you've got time. It is the Hart Foundation at their absolute best. The Hart Foundation are part of this next H, the Hall of Fame, where the legends of the business all come to live forever. The Hall of Fame opened its doors in 1993. The first inductee was Andre the Giant, who'd passed away just a few months before. It's become a place where wrestling's finest find a home every single year. Vince McMahon's dad wouldn't get into the Hall of Fame until 1996. Just thought it'd be good to point that out. The Hall of Fame ceremony gets bigger every single year, starting out as a closed-door affair to a ticketed one selling out entire arenas. When the Ultimate Warrior passed away just days after being inducted into the Hall of Fame, he was honored the following year with the Warrior Award, a special award given to those who, and I quote, exhibited unwavering strength and perseverance, and who lives life with the courage and compassion that embodies the indomitable spirit of the Ultimate Warrior. There's also a celebrity wing in the WWE Hall of Fame now that contains the likes of Pete Rose, Arnold Schwarzenegger, Mike Tyson, Snoop Dogg, and American President Donald Trump. That's the last time you'll ever hear any of those names in the same list at the same time. Two names that belong together, however, are Matt and Jeff, which is our next H, the Hardys. Passionate wrestling fans from North Carolina, Matt and Jeff Hardy joined the WWF in 1998. It was in 99 that alongside Michael Hayes, they really started getting traction in the company. They thanked him by binning him off and siding with Gangrel to form the New Brood. Matt and Jeff Hardy, along with Edge and Christian, would have a career-defining ladder match in 1999, and from there, they were off to the races. They became one of the most loved tag teams in the history of the WWF. With Lita by their side, then Matt Hardy's girlfriend, Team Extreme became a massive part of the landscape of the WWF. They also had a lot of success in the singles ranks as well. Jeff Hardy winning every major WWE championship, including the big one multiple times, the WWE title. Despite the fact that they have feuded with each other several times over the years, Matt and Jeff always seem to be able to make peace, even after that time that Matt Hardy burned Jeff Hardy's house down and killed his dog. Friends forever. Matt and Jeff's future is unclear at this point, but their impact is without question. No doubt, though, we will see the Hardy Boyz ride again at some point in the WWE in the very near future. H is also for Ho or Hacksaw Jim Duggan, who joined the WWF in 1987 when the Hulkamania era was running wild. Now, Hacksaw has quite a few accolades to his name, including the winner of the inaugural Royal Rumble match, last eliminating the one-man gang to win the whole thing. Also, a former King of the WWF, a crown that he defeated Haku for and then subsequently lost to who would then become the Macho King Randy Savage. Hacksaw makes sporadic appearances in the WWE, last seen as part of a tag team alongside Eugene on Monday Night Raw. They also love to roll out Hacksaw during a Royal Rumble match. I mean, he's the guy that won the first one. Of course it's good to bring him out every so often. So listen out next time you hear that buzzer countdown. You never know when you're gonna hear ho! Chances are Hacksaw was announced to the ring during his heyday by our next H, Howard Finkel. Howard Finkel has the record for the longest serving employee of the WWE. He was first hired in 1975 as the ring announcer for what was then the WWF. So many old bits of footage you see from Madison Square Garden will see the Fink with microphone in hand. Fink got mixed up in the odd bit of storyline action as well, including a infamous tuxedo match against Harvey Whippleman in 1995. I mean, check that out if you want. I'll leave that to you. Also worked briefly as a lackey for Chris Jericho and got into a couple of tussles with Lillian Garcia, the female ring announcer who would end up replacing Howard Finkel for the majority of his duties. Howard Finkel works backstage now. He has wrested the microphone for at least the time being, and he still remains the longest tenured employee in the history of the WWF/ the WWE. Now, if you were a kid growing up in the Hulkamania era, you will know this next H very well indeed, as H is for Hasbro action figures. In 1990, Hasbro took on the role of creating toys for the WWF. This is another part of WWF becoming this worldwide phenomenon. We hadn't known wrestling figures quite like this before. So you weren't just getting really cool looking wrestling figures, but you were getting wrestling figures that could do wrestling moves, like Hulk Hogan, who had a gorilla press slam action, Rick Rude, who had a headlock. You could get a Randy Savage that would do like a weird sort of double axe handle thing when you pop the thing on his back. You get Jake the Snake Roberts that would do a punch like that. This is all from memory, this. You still see some of these online today. In fact, there are some Hasbro figures on eBay that are going for thousands of pounds because they were part of a short run or just very rare. Recently, Mattel have released some throwback Hasbro action figures, and if you want to waken up the child in you, if you were a kid of the Hulkamania era, you can still pick yourself up some Hasbro figures. Get in. And H is for higher power. It was me, Austin! It was me all along, Austin! What a weird time 1999 was. So Vince McMahon found himself at war with the Ministry of Darkness. The Undertaker answering to some higher power that he referenced on multiple occasions. The higher power that would instruct him to kidnap Stephanie McMahon, Vince McMahon's daughter, and do some sort of weird pagan wedding ceremony on Monday Night Raw. Who was the higher power? One night on Raw, we found out as this cloaked figure came to the ring, whipped off the hood, and there's Vince McMahon. So Vince McMahon was the higher power all along. So Vince McMahon was the one that orchestrated all the bad things on Vince McMahon and his family. Cool. This apparently wasn't meant to be the case. There were several names thrown around to play the higher power, including Jake the Snake Roberts, Cyrus, who was working as a manager in the WWF and would go on to work for ECW and now Impact Wrestling, Don Callis. One of the big names, though, that was bounded around was Christopher Daniels, then an independent worker who very much attributed all the roles of sort of this evil leader. However, Vince McMahon apparently, allegedly, thought Christopher Daniels was too short to do it, so decided, you know what, I'm just going to put the hood on myself and I'll do it myself, and we'll explain it later. Weird. Higher power. So that's H on our A to Z. Next time, I'm going to make you scream I quit. Bye! Hey, thanks for watching. Don't forget to leave a comment in the comment section down below. You can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/Cultaholic. Lastly, don't forget to hit subscribe and join us.